Toho, an entertainment company where in its first film, everything goes wrong. Employees will suffer and lose their lives inside of the suits, and even a fight that ends up in a drowning. In this video, we will be analyzing the new analog horror called The Man in the Suit, and let's see if this series will make me watch a film from this franchise. But before I start yapping about this analog horror, if you're like me and you never watch a Godzilla movie, here we go. The Godzilla film takes place in Japan, where the main monster is awakened after nuclear tests, and he ends up attacking Tokyo. With that aside, the story of the Man in the Suit is told by an unknown Toho employee, that, for this video I'm gonna call him Alex, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. This analog horror takes us to 1954, during the production of the first Godzilla film. It focuses on an actor whose role was to act as Godzilla in the movie. That same actor falls in love with the role, or with the suit, to the point where he had a plan in mind, as we can see in one of the frames. Godzilla may be a monster, but I wonder if that's natural. And I'm going to be in this huge number of bodies, so I can be one with him. But one day, while recording a scene, he starts acting strangely. He would walk a few steps, and then stop, while breathing strangely. This was repeated a few times, to the point where it alerted the staff, who at first didn't take him seriously. And when opening the suit, they noticed that he was now one with the suit. And in the description, we can read a message from the former actor, before he became one with the suit. After that incident, the story moves forward to 1955, with the production of yet another Godzilla film, Godzilla Raids Again, where in it, they kept using Goji so they could still profit from the success of the franchise without being sued. In this film, Godzilla ends up fighting another monster called Angurius. But before starting, the Angurius actor himself already felt uncomfortable around Goji, who was very cooperative even after losing his vocal cords. In the scene where they both had to fight, Goji ends up going off the script and bites the head of the Angurius actor, who eventually faints after losing a lot of blood without the team being able to intervene. And when the team finally could get close to Angurius, it was already too late, as now it was also becoming one with the suit, as we can see in the description dialogue. After some time searching, Alex finally finds the third tape that talks about the Angurius mutation, where Toho locked him up and was trying to get the actor to cooperate in the same way that Goji did, but without success, and so they would be forced to use force. When we read the description, we realize that he was not trying to be aggressive, but rather he lost his vocal cords and was asking for help. And 2 years later, Toho decided to lock Goji with the intention of training him, but to no avail. In search of more answers, the fifth tape begins with the analysis of a science teacher who, for privacy reasons, he calls her Elisa. She says that what happened to the Goji actor was caused by radiation, to the point where the suit's skin is now his own, and later the suit's teeth will be his, and so on. And eventually Goji will have the characteristics of an animal. The mutation process begins with the actor, who explodes inside of the suit, and inside he ends up remodeling himself and filling the empty space in the suit. And his mutation wouldn't stop. Now, we will analyze the tape that was deleted or privated by the creator himself, but in order to explain it, I will have to depend on other creators. In 1962, another incident happened during another production of this franchise, King Kong vs. Godzilla. As King Kong was an American character, Toho had to work with Americans, in which Goji shows his hatred for Americans during the film and in the last scene. In the last scene, where they both had to fight, Goji goes off the script and throws himself at the actor inside King Kong, which causes them both to start fighting in the sea, where in the end, Goji ends up drowning the Japanese actor while representing a traitor. We were supposed to make a movie about what happened, about what they did. I didn't pour my soul into this carcass to be entertained. Traitor. After what happened, days go by and the Toho company sends a mysterious tape and 2 sloppy emails to Alex. The tape tells us the horrors of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki that killed hundreds of thousands, including Goji's family, while he was away on a business trip, and with that, he promises to get rid of the Americans, as we saw in the previous tape. Now, in the first email, Toho Studios confirmed that no one from there had sent him that tape, even though the other address said otherwise, and the second email says that he was fired for allegedly sharing that tape. But as the investigation couldn't stop there, Alex befriended a spy to infiltrate in the company to collect tapes and photos of what's happening. That same spy finds and gives him a tape called dorsal extraction, which was a surgery to remove a piece of Goji. Everything went well, as he didn't feel pain, until in the end, the camera flash accidentally hurted Goji's eyes, which made him begin to chase the team, and now if they escaped is still unknown. In 1964, during the production of another Godzilla film, Mothra vs. Godzilla, the company seemed to have finally learned its lesson, as now they had Goji fight a puppet. But there was another problem. They needed an employee in one of the larva suits. After choosing a female employee, in one of the scenes, something inside Goji snapped, after being treated like an animal, which makes him bite the Musura puppet. When he sees that there was no one inside, he goes ballistic and runs towards the larva. More specifically towards the one that had the employee, and bites her head. But this time, the team was ready. They quickly stunned Goji with tasers and managed to get the larva out of there. But with that, he ends up escaping. But not for long, as 1 hour later, he ends up being captured by the company again. But 1 hour was enough to put Toho in a chaotic situation, because when Goji escaped, he ended up being seen by several people who ended up reporting his existence. And so in just 1 hour, Goji was in hundreds of newspapers. And that forces Toho to intervene, and they give the best excuse I've ever seen in several analog horrors. That was all planned to promote the new Godzilla movie. I have to say it, what a save, but sadly the whole larva was now a Q-con. Obviously, this analog horror is not over yet, and it's an easy one to follow. So much so that we can agree that it all started with an employee that fell in love with his role and with the suit. So much so that he slowly becomes one with it. Goji has the intention of making Americans suffer in the same way that he and the people of Japan suffered. The transformation made him more into an animal than actually a human being, so much so that he loses control and infected 2 other employees, Angurius and the larva. But for now, the story stops with Toho getting away with it by the skin of their teeth, and with a question: what is coming out of that Q-con? And before I go see a Godzilla movie, click here to watch the disturbing mystery of the Holdest View. Take care, my friend.